Called me this morning and we're going to be doing quite a job that a lot of people don't like doing, and that is a timing belt, wet belt on a 1 litre EcoBoost. As you can see, we have got an awful lot of stuff to take off, so I'm going to make a start on taking all the induction pipe work off. We can get the coil packs out, fuel rail, and we can get the rocker cover off. And there we go, that is the rocker cover off along with all the intake pipe and induction. Just making a start now on removing this heat shield because we've got to take the cat off so we can take the sump off. And there is all the bits. Oh, it's just horrendous. Well, we are starting to get there very slowly. Removed the downpipe, and every single 10mm on that downpipe was seized or corroded solid. And we have run into a bit of a problem on the air conditioning pump, and I'm not going to be the first this has happened to. The bolts have snapped. So what we're going to have to do is remove the sump with the aircon pump on it already. And there we go, after a lot of swearing, the sump is off with the aircon pump. And I've just literally had to just chisel around the bolts on the heat shield. Nightmare of a job. And I don't know whether you can see this. Hang on, where's it gone? Look at all this in this strainer. Look at that. I'm gonna have to take all this off. Probably have to put a new oil pump on it as well. Now the most crucial part of doing this job is setting the timing correctly. And you do need the special tools, and they just lock onto the camshaft. Very similar to the Alpha 159 2 litre T-Spark, if you've ever done one. Very similar. Now you just have to fiddle with the crankshaft just so they all line up correctly. So we've got on cylinder 3 on the inlet and cylinder 2 on the exhaust, and that just goes there. And there is 2 little bolts that you just tighten them down to the cylinder head to. Now we need to move around to locking the crank, and how you do it, there is a bung that goes at the back of the block, and it just, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, and it locks just inside there on the webbing on the crank. And we've also got a locking tool there that locks the flywheel. And whenever you're using these timing tools, whether, you know, make sure that they're nice and tight. Don't just put them in finger tight. Make sure you tighten them up all the time. And there we go, that is a crankshaft pulley off. And how we've removed it is literally a 1/2 inch snap-on ratchet, breaker bar with a 22mm socket on the end, and we have literally pulled, oh honestly, it has been emergency tight. And there we have it, that is the timing cover off. All we've got to do now is just literally undo this 10mm, and then we can get this timing belt off. And there we have it, that is one timing belt removed, and very lucky customer, to be honest with you. You can just see it starting to fray here. I have been a bit busy. I have got the air conditioning pump off the sump, which was a bit of a nightmare. I've had to get a little bit of oxyacetylene on it and use a little bit of an air chisel. But as you can see, I have just damaged the pump ever so slightly on the corners, but that'll dress up and that'll fit back on the vehicle, no problem whatsoever. So all I've got to do now is the longest, most horriblest job ever, and that is clean all the surfaces on the sump and the timing cover, and also the fascia on the block. And how I clean all these surfaces down is literally with a soft wire brush attachment, and just go around it, and it does bring it up like brand new. Now the most crucial part about doing this job is getting this oil pickup looking like brand new. Now what you need to do is get yourself a little hook, 90-degree hook, and literally just scrape all that old timing belt out of there, and you should end up with little clumps like this. Now we've got everything looking like brand new and everything is nice and clean. It would be false economy not to put a new oil pump drive belt on, which is a genuine belt. All we're going to do now is just put the plastic cover back on there, get some sealant on the sump, and we'll get it put up. Now when applying your sealant to your fascias, this is where a lot of people go wrong. You're meant to put it on and leave it stand for about 5 to 10 minutes, just let it get a bit of a skin on it, and then apply it. And there we go, that is a sump back on. These bolts here are 10 Nm, and these two 13s here are 48. And there we go, that is a brand new Dayco timing belt put back on. I have torqued the tensioner up. Now I have marked these camshaft pulleys here, they haven't moved. So what I'm going to do now is literally just pull this pin out, and that is the belt tensioned. Now let's jump round to the timing cover. Now before we put it back on, I have ordered a new sealant ring, which goes there on that water jacket between the timing cover and the block. And I've also ordered 3 new bolts for the aircon, new crank bolt, and the new friction washer. And the same again with this one, just put your sealant on, leave it about 5-10 minutes, let it go to a bit of a skin on it, and then also put some on the sump and just put a little bit extra in the corners there when it makes up to the block. And there we go, that is a timing cover up, and it is all torqued up to spec. It is absolutely a nightmare of a job, as you can see. Nightmare. Now we need to go around to getting the crank pulley on, but before we put it on, you need to get this friction washer, which isn't fitted from factory, but it does need to go on between the crank pulley and the cam belt drive pulley. Be careful how you put it on, because you do not want to damage it like that. Now that we've got the crank pulley on, we need to get your timing pin. Now this is crucial for the timing, and that just slots in that little hole in the pulley to the timing housing. And there we go, that is a crank bolt nice and tight. And what I've done, I've put a little bit of Tipex there, so we know when we turn the engine over, if it lines back up there, it's going to be perfect. And also 2 white marks on the camshafts there. We're just going to get on the bar now and turn that engine over twice. And there we go, I've turned the engine over twice now, and I am more than happy with all my timing marks. I'm literally just going to put it all back together now, because I am up against a clock on this one. As you can see, I have got quite a lot of work ahead of me. Anyway, well, we are slowly getting there, and when I mean slowly, I mean slowly. Just it's just awful, this job is. I'm hating it. Now eventually we have all got it all back together. The only thing I am missing is the coolant hose from the turbo to the expansion tank, because a little plastic clip has snapped and I'm waiting for a new one. But before I initially start the engine, I'm just going to pull the fuse out the fuse box for the fuel pump, get it wound over about 20-30 seconds, get all that oil pressure up. Now we've wound it over by the key for about 20-30 seconds or so. Bearing in mind this coolant hose is off, it's going to be okay for about, well, you know, just to make sure that we can get it started. Anyway, let's get on the key. And there we go, that is the car all back together. I've literally just been to pick this pipe up now from the Ford dealers. Fresh coolant in it, and the car is driving and sounding absolutely sweet. Anyway, there you go, that is one timing belt, wet belt replacement on a Ford Fiesta. Let's get it set.